John said something earlier. They beat the Giants. Like, we're going to take this seriously. And this was the guy that was saying he believes Daniel Jones could be a franchise quarterback. Talking out of both sides of
No,
your
I
mouth,
didn't.
John.
I never said
You
that.
did. Pull the tape.
Ah,
Pull the tape last
I
episode.
edit
You
this
said,
show.
I
And I've
believe
never heard
Daniel
myself say
Jones
that.
can be. No, you
said
said it
he
on
can
the
be.
show. Lips
Uh,
to my ears, you said Daniel Jones can be a franchise quarterback.
But
I was
then again,
playing devil's
Brandon, 9
advocate
times out of 10, yeah, I was
because
going to
I
say he's
think
playing
Daniel
devil's
Jones can be a
advocate.
better version of Jimmy G. I think he'd be a really good game manager. That's an above average
You
QB.
can't use I'm not letting you use devil's advocate as an excuse to get out of a stupid point that you made. You can't say that unless you say it during the show, right after you said it or right before you said it. I'm going to play devil's advocate with. And playing devil's advocate is not putting your stamp of approval saying he could be a franchise quarterback. That's not playing devil's advocate.
And Daniel Jones played pretty good yesterday. Let's talk about some of the throws he made, moving the pocket, getting out, making very good throws, and letting the play develop. There were a couple of plays in the first quarter and a third, and that touchdown, or should have been a touchdown, on the 1 yard line to Darius Slayton was a beautiful throw. It was almost like that Kirk Cousins, almost like that Kirk Cousins throw against the Patriots. Great ball placement.
What about the Saquon Barkley 4th down he missed? You said the quarterback's got to hit flat.
Saquon could have hit that pass. He could have caught that. They hit him right in the hands, and he fell over.
He can't. He could have.
I mean, don't blame that on Daniel Jones. Saquon was open. Saquon fell and dropped the pass. Yeah. There were other plays, too. Richie James, earlier in the
pass.
First pass, Richie James drops one. Later in the fourth, he catches a huge one on 3rd down. You look at these weapons in New York. I'm saying if you put Daniel Jones in San Francisco, he can be an upgrade version of Jimmy G. That's a good quarterback. That's all I'm saying, man. And I don't think it's crazy. Daniel Jones played relatively well yesterday.
The guy that's only thrown for barely over 3,000 yards once in his career.
The
guy that if you take away his
number 2 receiver,
his most touchdowns in the NFL is 11. The guy that has never played a full season. That's the guy that you believe can be a upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo. That is laughable and stupid that you just said that.
Why are you hating on Vanilla Vic?
Stupid you just said that.
John, I think you're pushing it.
You guys are out of your mind. This is Daniel Jones' first season with an actual head coach. Brian Daly,
and he's still not playing. Like, oh my God, he's not.
Okay, but that's where we can talk weapons. See, this is where I can play both sides there. Yeah. You can't crap completely on Daniel Jones without looking at.
Dude, if you're great, you make
Darius Slayton is his number one. Darius Slayton is not supposed to be a number one.
If you are great, you make players around you better. That's why you are
just
great.
Like what Brady did. Your point, 2019, huh?
We ask great players to make others better. That is one thing that determines good from great. And Daniel Jones ain't even good. He's a good backup quarterback. He's not a starting caliber quarterback.
But you can't say that. Yeah. You can't just say just say great players have to make other people better immediately. You're right. But this is a young quarterback that hasn't had any opportunity to actually develop. Any opportunity. Saquon's always been injured with him. Always. His weapons are never healthy. When was the last time Sterling Shepard's played more than 12 games?
Well, you see him on the sidelines yesterday.
Even a good quarterback would show you something. He's shown you nothing.
Evan Ingram.
Brand, this is where I have to jump in.
Played a full season. Oh my God. Brandon, I don't understand why you're defending Daniel Jones.
Number one, I said Daniel Jones is good. I didn't call him great because Daniel Jones is not great. I felt like in the 2019 draft, he was a reach for the Giants. But I'm going to list off to you, PCAP, some of Daniel Jones's receivers yesterday. And I'm pretty certain, if you don't think Daniel Jones is good, you have never heard these receivers before. And if I gave you their last name, you would never, if we were here for 3 hours, be able to guess their first name. That's the type of weapons he's working with. So number one, Darius Slayton, 63 yards on 6 targets. Darius Slayton's a good receiver. He's more of number 3. In Buffalo, he'd be number 4, Josh Allen. Richie James. Then get ready for this. Justin, you're going to like this. Isaiah Hodgkins. Isaiah Hodgkins. Have you ever heard that name, BCAP? No. Okay. Next one up. Chris Miriak. Okay. After that, we have Lawrence Cager, Gary Brightwell, and then Saquon Barkley. So when I look at this Giants offense, it's been depleted in many ways. Kenny Golladay has been an absolute no-show, and shout out to a great quarterback in Matthew Stafford who made him $60 million guaranteed. Sterling Shepard has not played. Kadarius Toney had hamstring injuries to both of his legs at the same time, and then got traded. So his top 3 weapons have not been available or just good. And in spite of that, the guy is 7-4 this year and played pretty darn well. He's been constantly under duress. The last time he played Dallas, he couldn't even get out of the pocket, and he's shown the ability to make many different throws. He can move the pocket, he can get out, he extends the play. I don't think he's great. I think he's an above-average quarterback. That's good to me. Not bad, given after the season, the Giants are probably going to franchise tag him.
I hate this new wave of just everybody gets a handout award now. Everybody, like, if everybody's above average, if anybody can be above average, then nobody's above. Then this is like, what are we talking about here? We got to be actually honest as people when you're evaluating stuff. Like, we seriously got to be honest. There are people that are not good. There are people that are bad. And we have to call it out as we see it.
Daniel Jones is playing good football, and he's improving this season. I don't care the ball, winning the Giants games, 5 fourth-quarter comebacks. He's played a very good season, and with how young he is, there's an upward trajectory for him when you get him some real receivers. Talking about the Giants, guys, I feel like this offense, it's pretty straightforward. This year, they've relied so much on Saquon, and Daniel Jones has been good, but like Brandon said before, Daniel Jones is not great, and so he's not going to elevate some of this talent. I feel like
he's not good.
I feel like for the Giants, they're going to miss the playoffs. And they started off this season 7-2, looked very good. They've now lost back-to-back games. Last week, Daniel Jones did not have a great day against the Lions. Had 2 bad interceptions. Last night versus the Cowboys, he had 0 picks to Dak Prescott's 2. I look at this Giants schedule to end the season. You have to play the Commanders twice. And maybe I'm just sniffing the funny stuff here. Brian, you had the Commanders making the playoffs this year. And it's not with Carson Wentz they're winning football games right now, but Taylor Heineke. I want to get a quick initial reaction to you guys. When I look at the best divisions in the NFL, I think the AFC East is the best. But number 2, with 4 teams with 0 losing records, is the NFC East, who Brandon also conveniently called the NFC East coming to the season. For both of you guys, number 1, do you think 3 teams make it to the playoffs out of the NFC East? And number 2, if that is the case, we know the Cowboys and the Eagles are going to be safe picks. Between the Commanders and the Giants, which one will be making the playoffs and which one will be missing the playoffs?
I think Washington misses the playoffs. I'm still going to roll with the Giants. While yes, they are talent depleted on the outside and they're dealing with some injuries, I don't believe they're a bad football team. I think they've played some close games. I think they'll find ways to win. I think they might split with Washington. I think they might split with the Eagles, and I think they'll take one from the Colts as well. I don't know how that Vikings game that could be a trap game for the Vikings, thinking that they're going to run away with a number 1 spot. I really do believe the Giants are a good team. They're well coached. Daniel Jones isn't playing terrible football. It'd be nice if I know Odell has a visit to Dallas apparently on Monday, so that's probably a done deal. But if somehow, some way, they could lure him to the Meadowlands, that would go a long way to helping develop Daniel Jones and further make this Giants offense more potent, because they definitely need a boost.
Oh my God, that's such a stupid argument. But listen, the Giants are finishing 9-8 to end the season. They easily can be 8-9. Okay. The Washington Commanders are not making the playoffs, and it's going to be the Eagles and Cowboys making the playoffs out of the NFC East. I'm done talking about this topic because it's ridiculous the things that come out of John's mouth sometimes when it comes to, like, I don't know. It's just everybody deserves a participation. That's what John lives in.
He's
so I actually am a big
John's like it's
not a big participation award guy. I think they're terrible. Here's a crazy stat, guys. The Giants this year are 7-4, and their net rating, the plus minus, they're just a +3. After these 2 losses versus the Cowboys lost by 8, and the Lions, they lost 18-31, so 13-point deficit. I think the Commanders making the playoffs. Their defense this year has gotten better and better, stopping the run. I love Cameron Curl, and now they're getting Chase Young back this week. He's not played yet this season, coming off of his torn ACL last year. Now, I'm going to be honest. I'm a little bit concerned with Chase, because in year 2, he didn't show that development, and then he tears his ACL. So it feels like this is a lost year between the Giants and the Commanders. They play each other December 4th. I think this Commanders team rolls into the playoffs, and Ron Rivera has his first winning season in Washington. For this slate that they have, you got the Giants on December 4th, then the Eagles, the second time they played them. Then you got the Giants again on December 18th, the Vikings, the Colts, and the Eagles. I think they win 4 of those games. I think they beat the Vikings on the road. I think they beat the Colts. I'm looking at the run schedule. I'm looking at the Giants schedule. That's the issue here. So the Giants, they had to play the Commanders twice. Then they had the Eagles and the Vikings. And the last 2 games of the season for them, they're playing Indianapolis at home. And then they had the Eagles week 18 on January 8th. So I made a mistake there. The Giants schedule is pretty tough. And I think for them, whereas the Commanders would win 4 of those games, they're probably going to win 2 or 3. And I think this season's going to come down to the last week between these 2 teams. And the Commanders sneak in. They're 6-5 right now. With, look, 10 wins, 10-7 to end the season. I think that's a realistic outcome for them.
For me, a lot has to go well. Washington started off the season ugly. Yes, they're riding high. That's a lot of momentum for them to get 10 wins. That's a lot. That means you're guaranteeing they'll probably sweep the Giants.
Oh, I think they beat the Giants both times.
No respect for Brian Daboll.
Adoree Jackson for the season.
Daniel Jones.
Daniel Jones hasn't played.
Franchise quarterback, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think Daniel Jones will play well, but the Giants defensively have had a lot of issues this year. Kayvon Thibodeau even was banged up in that Cowboys game. I think for New York, they finished the year with 9 wins, and they just missed out on the playoffs as one of the above 500 teams.